Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to begin by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopefully elect. Right, so what we'll be going into in this video will simply be the Lord deals in a balance, right? The Lord deals in balance. People, simple-minded people, pursuing Proverbs 121, being simple-minded, right? They look at the way of the world and they think, well, the so-called wicked people, they live lavish, right? They have all the things that they need. They have all the money and, so on and so forth. But then you have, or even, when you think about, like your Christian church pastors and things like that, they all have the things that they need. But then when you have, the other side, people who do righteously, right? Specifically, really in this truth, right? When people first come into the truth and they don't understand, you say, you have people that live righteously. Why are they at the low, right? Why are we the lowest, right? But it's really because the Lord deals in balance, right? It's all a balance, right? They can have what they have now, but guess what? In the world to come, in the kingdom, they're not gonna have nothing, right? They're gonna be the low of the low, and it's gonna be the same thing, with the righteous, right? We might be, at the low end now, but in the end, we're gonna be high, right? That's why the scriptures talk about, he told us, we'll be the head and not the tail, right? But Israel went off, right? So we had to be punished. But the Lord is just, right? He deals in a correct balance, right? That it'll all be evened out, right? So this is Proverbs 11:1. Just getting straight to the point, really. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight, right? So that false balance, right, it's an abomination with Yahweh Shema Shah. He doesn't he can't stand it, right? That false balance, it's a balance when it comes to this truth, right? You have the truth, and then you have, you have your outside life, right? But at the end of the day, you have to balance it all correctly. Of course, brothers have jobs, brothers may have wives, kids, extracurricular activities. But at the end of the day, if you balance it all correctly, then all will be fine. But once you let, the world take more, or once you let the world start to weigh more, take more of your life, that's when things get fucked up. That's when things start to mess up and go off. So you gotta keep that balance, right? And like I said earlier, dealing with, some people may look at other people and say, why did they get this? Why did they get that? Well, let me actually go to this. This is Sirach 11 and starting 21, right? It says, marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord, right? You shouldn't marvel at the works of sinners. You shouldn't look at sinners and say, damn, this rapper, this athlete, but he got the diamond chains, he got the, he got the fast cars, he got a mansion, he got this, he got that. What is it to marvel over? Because when you understand this place is going to be destroyed anyway, and all the tangible things, all the physical things that they may or may not have, they're not going to mean anything, in the days to come, right? Like Yahweh Shah said, you shouldn't store up these things where moth and rust doth corrupt, where thieves do break through and steal, right? You're supposed to be building up the things that thieves can break through, or that that thieves can't steal, roughly paraphrasing, right? Which is what? The treasures in heaven, man, the kingdom of heaven. Because again, like the scriptures say, where your treasures are, there will your heart be also. So you gotta put your treasures in the kingdom of heaven, man. But again, ultimately understand, as we continue on, the Lord deals in the balance, man, right? So again, verse 21, marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. These things are easy to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. How? You may say, because he controls it both, right? Let's see. Let's see. What do I want to grab? Or do it this way. I think I want Deuteronomy. Is it 32 and 39? Con. Is that the one I wanted? Con. I mean, this goes into, the Lord dealing with the balance. Like it says, he kills and he makes alive, but that's not the really one I wanted for the precept to make a poor man rich. I think it might be the Isaiah 45:7. Bear with me. That's not the one I'm thinking of either. Salakia, bear with me. First Samuel. I think this is the one I wanted. Kai. This is 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. Right, it says, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Right? So he does it all. Right? He deals in a balance. And all of it's all just. Right? You can never say Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is unjust. Whatever happened to this person or that person wasn't warranted, or it wasn't righteous, or anything of that nature, because he deals in the perfect balance, right? There's really another precept that I just can't think of. You know what? Let me see if I can find it. Okay, this is what I think I wanted. This is Sirach 42 and 23, right? It says, all these things live and remain forever for all uses. They are all obedient. He made everything perfectly, right? It's all a balance, right? Number 24, it says, all things are double one against another, and he hath made nothing imperfect. That means it's a perfect balance. Everything works out perfectly the way that he created it to be, right? So when you see yourself going through things, you're going through struggles, just know it'll all balance out. And so it's really it just goes into, like the elders, always preach about being stoic, stoicism. It's just understanding that you should never be too high, you should never be too low, because things can constantly change, just so it's you gotta understand. I mean, getting back to another scripture, this is Matthew 5 and 30. 45, right? It says, well, I'll start at 43. It says, ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. right? It's a balance. The same thing that he'll do for you, he can do for the wicked. The same thing he can do for the wicked, he can do for you. It's all a balance. The wicked can be judged the same way that you can be judged, right? The wicked can be rich the same way you can be rich. It just all depends on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. He may do that for you, but he may not. It's all according to him, man. He deals in the just balance, right? And that's all that it is. At the end of the day, it's a balance. You know? That makes me think of Ezekiel 18, right? Because you try to say that the ways of the Lord are unjust. Well, shit, he can ask you the same question, right? I think it's Ezekiel 18. It's Ezekiel 18 and I want to get straight to the point. I mean, I could read a little bit of this. But getting to the point, I started at verse 24. It says, "But when the righteous have turned away from his righteousness, and committeth iniquity, and doeth and do according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he have done shall not be mentioned, and his trespass that he have trespassed, and his sin that he have sinned, in them shall he die. Yet ye say the way of the Lord is not equal. Hear now, O house of Israel, is not my way equal? Are not your ways unequal? When a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness, and committeth iniquity, and dieth in them, for his iniquity that he have done shall he die. Again, when a wicked man turneth away from his wickedness that he have committed, and doeth that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive. But he considereth, because he considereth, and turneth away from all his transgressions that he have committed, he shall surely live. He shall not die. Yet saith the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal. O house of Israel, are not my ways equal? Are not your ways unequal? Right? And that's the thing. You know, Jake always trying to blame you, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, for not being equal. Say, oh, that's not fair. You can't do this. You can't do that. You know, they asked ignorant, small-minded questions like, you know, if I was created this way, how can he judge me? That's very simple-minded, man. Very simple-minded. You know, but again, just back to the point. Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, but a just weight is his delight. So at the end of the day, you gotta deal in the balance, man. Everything is a balance. You gotta learn how to balance, you know, your daily lives and your you know, in the truth, right? Romans, what is it? Is it 8? No. Let me think. Slakia. Hopefully I spelled that right. Damn, I was wrong. It's in 2 Timothy, not Romans. I don't know if this is exactly what I wanted, but in the spirit, this goes well. This is 2 Timothy 2:4. It says, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. So again, everything that you do in the truth, Or, in your daily life, at the end of the day, it has to be done lawfully. It has to be done in true sincerity. It has to be done with a balance, with Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua being in the forefront. That's what's going to keep your life on balance. If he's in the forefront, he's going to keep everything balanced. Everything's gonna lay out the way it's supposed to be. When you start to put Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua in the back, that's when everything gets unbalanced. That's when for lack of a better term, that's when the seesaw gets get flipped. But Lord willing, this is edifying. I don't want to ramble too much. So I'm going to end by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to hopefully let.